Oh yeah. What up, my guys, man? Welcome to another show, man. The game time tip-off, see what I'm saying? Tip-off show, man. An hour before game time with all the late info. We basically know who's all playing right now as well. So, man, it's time to get to some money, man. I've lost some money this year, but don't worry, I'm getting my shit back. Don't worry about that, man. But what's up with you, Chris? Everything cool with you, my brother? How you
What
doing?
up, Jay? What up? What up? What up, man? First of all, as always, man, I don't think I've been on the show this year, so I want to thank you. Appreciate you for always having me, man. It's the first time we done linked up today, this year. But yeah, Jay, let's get to some cash, man. I know it's straight to business. Like you said, I've been losing some money here and there too. It's been fluctuating, right? You win some, you lose some, but the spots, like you said, the spots not cashing. Still watch your show all the time, Jay. Huge supporter for what you do for the people, man. Let's get into it. I think we got some good looks for the day, though.
No, that's facts, bro. Good looks this week, period. I'm starting to see things kind of clearly here, man. So let's get straight to it. I had to take my glasses off. Got to see things clearly here, man. But shout out to my guy, Chris. Y'all go follow him on Twitter at Crispy Capping, man. He's starting a whole community over there. The Spaces. He has a YouTube channel as well. So make sure you follow my guy. Y'all see the hat. Y'all see the background, man. Check out my guy. He's a real genuine dude and sharp capper as well. But y'all know how we do it on the show. It's all business here, right? So let's get straight to it here. Appreciate everybody in the chat for watching the show as well, my guys. Let's get some cash together. First game up, let's go over here to the streets of Cleveland here, guys, where we have the Cavs here laying 4 points at the house versus the Miami Heat, right? This is somewhat of a revenge spot. The Cavs smacked them 113-87 last time. I know that they didn't have Jimmy, or I don't think they had Jimmy Butler or Tyler Hero on that one. They do have them this time around. They're coming off that loss versus the Hornets as well, Chris. What do you think? You think the Heat might try to get some revenge in this one?
I think so, Jay. I think so. This Heat team, I think looking at the game on Sunday, Jay, I think they were actually looking ahead because they gave up a lot of points to Charlotte. Got smacked up by Charlotte after playing really, really good at home, right? But and one of the things that I looked at, Jay, was I looked at the Heat ATS record following a road loss when their next game is also on the road. They bounce back well in these spots. They're 6-2 against the spread. One of the reasons why that kind of talked me off of taking the Cavs, because we know what the Cavs do at home. I got the Cavs, Jay. They're coming off that big win against the Clippers B team, pretty much. This is the second game of a 3-game homestand. Jimmy Butler and Gabe Vincent both got ruled in. So to what that tells me, Jay, is they healthy. They coming for the revenge, right? So
right.
so if you wanted the Cavs, you probably should have got on them. You probably should get on them now that the number's lower. But if you wanted the Heat, you probably should have got on them before those guys got ruled in. No real look ahead spot as well. You mentioned the revenge game, Jay. It's difficult, man, because the Cavs, Jay, the difficult part with fading the Cavs is you don't want to do it at home. This team's 12-2 straight up, Jay, 9-3 against the spread as a home favorite in conference games, right? One thing I looked at, and I'm pretty sure you saw this as well, Jay, the Cavs they're not extremely consistent. When the Cavs lose, it's typically off of a win. Right. So if you want to have the most confidence in backing the Cavs, you typically want to do it off a loss. But they've been playing. I think they've been playing a little better. And I think what the trends show me, Jay, is that when they play conference games and they're the home favorite, they play well. Right. I got the Cavs at 6-2 against the spread, 7-1 straight up, 6-2 against the spread, Jay, when they're playing against the Eastern Conference opponent as a home favorite, and the opponent has a winning record. So they play up to competition. We know that they play down. We saw them lose to the Warriors last week with the Warriors B team out there. So they can play down, but they also can play up to competition. Really difficult game to cap. I'm not looking at anything. I do think, Jay, prop wise, that if I was playing anything on the props, if I wanted to, I think the contrarian play would be looking at a guy like Tyler Hero, because Bam's going to struggle today. Down low with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, I think they're going to make it extremely difficult for him. So I would probably pivot towards a guy like Tyler Hero, especially with Jimmy, probably playing with the quad injury. He might not be 100%.
Yeah, and Hero's starting to play a lot better as well. I know the last game, he got right versus the Hornets, right? It was a bad defensive team, but if you look at the guards for the Cavs, they're somewhat shorter guards as well. Garland, I'll say I don't think he's the best defender. Now, Mitchell can try to lock up, but both of them are small guards, so you can shoot over them. Hero is one of the most important players for the Miami Heat as well, outside of Butler and Adebayo. So if they're going to stay close in this game, it's definitely going to have to be Hero keeping them in this one, guys. That's another thing. I appreciate it for that look as well, Chris. A lot lot of on this late show. I want to try to start looking at a lot more props as well, guys. So yeah, definitely Hero would be my one. And Nelwyn, I do think it's a tough matchup with Bam because they got Mobley and Allen they can throw at him, and Bam like to shoot those little mid-range jumpers. It might Allen can get a few blocks on those as well. But where you want to beat the Cavs team is shooting three-pointers, and you'd have to look at their best three-point shooter in Tyler Hero over there, guys. So that's a good look by you there, Chris. Yeah, it's a tough game for me. Really tough to figure out a side. I can see scenarios where the Heat try to get their revenge, but also I'm not betting against the Cavs at the house. What, 20-5, 21-5 straight up at the house, 17-8 against the spread, 17-8-1 against the spread. So I'm not betting against them at the house. I'm not going to do it. So I actually think the Cavs are a bye team, like a sustained bye, basically like for the rest of the season. Really tough, a really great game to watch, right? But I always say we don't always have to bet the games pregame. Maybe watch this one, get a good feel for how it's going, maybe even the total wise, and then maybe make a live bet on this one. But definitely be looking at Tyler Hero points and maybe 3-pointers over Nelson. I think that's the only way that the Heat can kind of keep this one in, my guys. Let's head over here to another great game, man. I'm gonna have to change the line here, man. This line's went up to 2, my guys. We're going to the streets of Madison Square Garden here. We got the Knicks land 2 points at the house versus the Lakers in this one. It was at 2.5 last night, down to 1.5 this morning, now back up to 2 here, Chris. What do you think? Obviously, the line is all over the place. We know LeBron, AD in there. I kind of got a feeling that this is the LeBron payback game. I think the Lakers going to get this win tonight. I know that's your team, Chris. You don't bet on them a lot, but I like the Lakers tonight. What you looking at this game?
No, that's a fact, Jay. I'd only be able to look towards the Lakers as well. I think the one thing that's kind of keeping me off, besides the emotional investment towards your team, right? You don't want to become too emotionally and financially, invested in your team, which is why I don't typically bet on my Lakers. But I like the spot for us tonight, Jay. I think Bron and AD getting the day off yesterday. Patrick Beverley, I think, is addition by subtraction with how poorly he's been able to shoot the ball recently. You get, Rui Hachimura another day in the system, another, some more time to be around the guys. Lonnie Walker is also back for the Lakers, Jay, which helps offensively. And I think the Knicks been playing a little bit above their head without Mitchell Robinson. I expected this team to kind of fall off just a tad bit, Jay, if I'm being honest, without Mitchell Robinson down there. Offensive rebounding the ball, screen setting, getting the tip ins, the putbacks, the rim runs. So I think I know the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. It's a third game in 4 nights as well. In the second game of a road trip, the Lakers are 0-5 in their last 5 meetings in New York, but I do feel like this is a Lakers spot tonight, Jay. I think, nationally televised games, I think both of these teams, come out here and play really, really aggressively. Knicks' first game back home as well, coming off a 4-game road trip, might not be the greatest spot to play them. They do also have the Heat on deck as well on Thursday, and I do think that they'll miss Mitchell Robinson in this game specifically, Jay, which is why I kind of pivot towards Anthony Davis, looking at his rebounds, over 9.5. It's been a cash cow. He's had a double-digit rebounds in 5 of his last 6 games, Jay. Seeing his minutes increase, he played 35 minutes, I think, in that game in Boston on Saturday as well. Knicks without Mitchell Robinson. What I looked at, Jay, was how the Knicks do rebounding the ball with and without Mitchell Robinson. They average 48 rebounds with Mitchell Robinson, giving up 44. So they're +4 on the rebounds with Mitchell Robinson in. Without Mitchell Robinson, it's about a tie. They're about 44 apiece. So I like that angle. Getting AD and last game, 17 rebounds against this team. So they don't have, Hardenstein, good luck to him tonight. I think Julius Randle going to be down there rebounding the ball, but I like AD to go over his rebounds in this spot, Jay. Also, one more quick one, Jay. I was looking at LeBron, right? We know Bron typically plays well, especially off an extra day's rest, right? We know he typically plays well on nationally televised game. Everybody want to get up for their Garden appearance, especially when it's on TNT, right? So Bron, looking at Bron rebounds plus assists, Jay, he's cleared this line 14 straight games in a row. 14 for 14. He's had at least 15 rebounds plus assists combined, averaging 9.2 rebounds on 13.5 rebound chances, 8.2 assists on 14.5 assist chances, good for 18 rebounds and assists is what he's averaging, Jay, over his last 14 games. With the extra day rest, nationally televised game, I expect, Bron to come out here and play well. I do think that, adding guys like Rui Hachimura, who's a real good catch and shoot 3-pointer, catch and shoot 3-point shot maker, and Lonnie Walker back into the lineup, that just, increases LeBron assists. And like I said, addition by subtraction, because Patrick Beverly's shooting about 10% from the 3-point line. He's not making anything. So I think, him getting his shooters back, Jay, and Mitchell Robinson not being there, I see Bron attacking the rebounds, and I also see him getting his assist tonight. So I played LeBron over his 14.5 rebounds plus assists, Jay. You can get it at like a -113 on most books right now. So you ain't laying too much.
I like that, man. I'm I'm wondering if you like the rebounds assists, I'm like LeBron points. Now we know that his points sitting at 28.5. So I'm saying you could even sell a point and get that plus money and get him at 29.5, man. So I'm not a huge prop better, but I think I might want to sprinkle on LeBron tonight. It's not something I'm taking. Now I like the Lakers in this game. I did bet the Lakers plus the 2 in this game, guys. So that's my pick on this one. I did bet the Lakers plus the 2. So that's what I'm looking at in this one, man. I see a bounce back spot, and what we've seen as well, when teams are on the back-to-back, they give the other team 2.5 points, right? We just saw that in the Kings and Wolves game. So it was -3 for the Kings, and then the very next game they had it sit -1 for the Wolves there, but it had opened up at -2. So we're seeing somewhere like a 2 to 3 point addition or like addition to the spread for the team, and it's basically because of the other team. It's at a rest disadvantage, but a lot of things been this quirky ass year, the rest advantage shit had really been happening like that, man. And nobody really played a ton of minutes last night. Now Beverly did play 34 minutes. He is an older player, but you know who we're worried about. We're worried about LeBron and AD. They're bringing AD off the bench, just like you said. I really think they're gonna miss Mitchell Robinson in this game, my guy. So that's what we're looking at, man. I'm taking Lakers plus the 2. My guy Chris, I'm heavily leaning LeBron over 28.5. My guy Chris taking Anthony Davis over 9.5 rebounds and LeBron over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. I might have to ride with you on that, because basically the way we're looking at it, this could be a game where LeBron takes the PRA, and it seems square, but that's what's been hidden. We know you probably could make money betting LeBron props all the way up until he does break the record, guys. Now I know he got a game versus the Thunder in there. He probably won't play that game, but I think that he probably breaks it at home versus the Milwaukee Bucks, the team that Kareem used to play for. But I got to look towards the Lakers here. A little bit of conspiracy Jay coming out as well. We know LeBron out there crying and shit, man. So maybe it's a game where the refs choose to help them out. I believe Scott Foster is in this game. He does like to ref towards the home teams, guys. But if there was a guy that liked to give some calls for the Lakers, maybe we see it tonight. But I'll be honest, Chris, I didn't even look to see who the refs was. I don't even keep a damn about that
it's
shit.
Scotty. It's Scotty.
Scotty too hottie. Let's go, baby. Give me the Lakers there plus the 2. I say if you don't like to play, man, you don't have to take it. If you like the Knicks, take the Knicks. They're at the house. But just look at this, guys. 5th worst ATS team at the house. 9-14-2 against the spread, and only 12-13 straight up as well. So even when it comes to winning games, the Knicks haven't been getting it done at the house. Give me the Lakers there plus the 2. Can't talk you off taking the money line as well. Just if they're giving me points, I'm gonna take them. You see what I'm saying? Any other thoughts on this game, Chris?
Nah, I think the only other thing I want to mention is Bron played against this team last year. The last game he played, he had a triple-double. I think that bodes well for both of us.
I like that.
So the rebounds plus assists, the points, all that good stuff.
30-point triple-double from my guy LeBron incoming, guys. That's what we liking in this one, my guys. Let's get to some cash, man. Let's head over here to the streets of Milwaukee here, man. We have the Bucks. I know AD is limited to around 23, 24 minutes, but you never know. The game get close. You never know, man. He might end up playing 30, my guy. But let's go over to the streets of Milwaukee here, man. We got the Bucks laying 11 points, Chris. This line came. It was at 12.5 last night, down to 11. So some sharp bettors liking the Hornets here plus the points, and I get it too. The Bucks don't really cover a lot of these big game spreads as well, especially when they're looking past the opponent. But maybe they didn't look at what happened the last time these two faced off. I feel like if you looked at what happened the last time these two faced off, one, you could say that the Hornets can match up well with the Bucks, but you could also say that obviously the Bucks are a much better team and they could have vengeance on their mind. I'm kind of thinking the latter there, Chris. How you looking at this game?
I'm thinking the latter with you, Jay. That was an embarrassing spot. I remember that night, Jay. It was a Friday night, and I had to double check the score, and then I turned the game on just to make sure I wasn't tripping. And because sometimes you check the ESPN app and it'll have the wrong score for the wrong team. And Jay, you mentioned it already, but that game was over with before it started, man. Man, it was crazy. Charlotte scored 51 points in that first quarter, Jay. Never looked back. I think they scored 33 in the second quarter. They would end up winning the game by 23 at the end of the first quarter. It's no way possible you telling me that the Milwaukee Bucks don't remember that. It's no way possible, Jay. So That takes a lot of the handicapping out of it for me. But a couple other things that I looked at, because I think that's such a big factor, right? But this is not a revenge game like they lost by 2. No, this is a game where you guys smacked up and never even showed up. Giannis didn't even get double-digit points in that game. So I think him, Drew Holiday, all of the boys come, really, really locked in today. Another thing I looked at, Jay, was I looked at the Hornets specifically. When they're facing an opponent that they've already beaten this year, it doesn't go well for them in that game. They're losing by an average of 12 points after they've beaten the team, right? So we talk about revenge game. This is the opposite of a revenge game, and they don't do well after they've already beaten the team. They're 0-4 straight up, only 0-3-1 against the spread facing an opponent they've already beaten this season, Jay. Losing by an average of 12 points. In the first half, they're losing by an average of 13 points. 5-point margin in the first quarter in that as well. I like the first half just a little bit better, just in case the Hornets aren't down by 2 possessions early, but I absolutely see that happening as well. Also, looking at the Hornets as away dogs in conference games, Jay, they're losing the first quarter by an average of 4 points, losing the second quarter by an average of 4 points, which is also an 8-point margin at the first half. Man, this is nothing but a Bucks. It's a smack city spot, Jay. I see all of them happening. I know me and you talked briefly before the show. We talked about the team total, everything. I think all of it's happening today. The other thing, Jay, is that the Bucks been balling. Like we just talking about fading the Charlotte Hornets. The Bucks actually been balling. Giannis done put this team on his back. They down Bobby Portis. It don't matter. Giannis just got the whole city of Milwaukee on his back. Drew Holiday been balling. Brooke Lopez out there hitting threes. A lot of those other role players like Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton also playing well. Javon Carter off the bench, Jay. Bucks everything in this game for me, but officially I did take the first half minus the 6.5. Probably gonna get there in the first quarter as well, Jay, with you on that team total, because 32.5 is a lot of points, Jay. But what I looked at was the Bucks. They're on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak. What I looked at was how many points they're averaging in that. They're averaging 39 points, Jay, in the first quarter over the last 5 games. So I don't think it is actually set that high at all. We know that when you think about pace, the Hornets just gonna try to push the pace, whether they're getting blown out or not, right? They're gonna be running up and down the court. So I like that. I like that first quarter, Jay. I'm gonna go official with that one as well. First quarter team total over the 32.5, and give me the first half over Bucks minus the 6.5.
Exactly, and just like you said, as well, man, the Hornets are going to run super fast, whether they're winning the game, whether they're losing the game. That's why, to be honest with you, the team total overs might be even a little bit better look in this one, my guys, because you don't even care what the spread is. Although I do think that they take them to Smack City. You see what I'm saying? I like this. I like this spot for the Bucks, guys. I mean, how could you not like it, man? Revenge spot. Now, I can't say that they have nobody to guard Giannis because they got guys like Jalen McDaniels. They got guys like Kai Jones as well off the bench. The Hornets have some sneakily good guys, but when you're sitting at only 15 wins, Chris, they're 10 games out of the 10th seed. So not from they're 10 games out of the play-in tournament, man. At some point, you got to start looking towards next year. Now, obviously, it's a lot of season still left, but the Hornets, they were already projected to be one of the bottom 3 teams in the league. Anyway, man, look at my guy Moonoff. He says Bucks trifecta and team totals, and I don't see how those don't go at least that's 6 plays. I don't see how they go at least 4-2, my guys, but I think they go 6-0. I like the Bucks early and often this one. So like you're saying, they were down 51-28 at the end of the first quarter, guys. 84-60 at the end of the first half. Giannis, this motherfucker had 9 points, man. I don't know if they went out to party the night before or whatever, but Bucks second straight home game as well. So they're not coming from road to home. They're comfortable. They're in their spots. They're also 5-1 ATS last 6 in the first quarter as well. I mean, rebounding number 2 in rebounding percentage last 5, Chris. So everything, I see them towering over them, like you say, even without Bobby Portis. This game is on Giannis and Drew Holiday to come together. Like, come on, bro. These guys really just took us to Smack City, man. We know we're a lot better than that, and it happened on your home floor as well. You remember this shit, guys. Give me the first quarter team total over 32.5. I'll be honest, I like the first half team total as well. I hadn't taken it yet, so full disclosure, I do like it. Hadn't bet it yet. I know it's sitting somewhere around 63.5, 64. The way I see it, I see the Bucks gonna have 40 points at the end of the first quarter. And this time around, they might be the ones that have 80 points at the end of the first half. I see them putting on them. And you don't want to run with him right now. If you can't stop Giannis in transition, he's probably going for 40 points, guys. It's not something that I bet, but Giannis points, especially with him scoring 9 points last time. He's going off against everybody right now, Chris, let alone against this Hornets team. You got Plumlee down there. Come on, man. Plumlee, you're getting your ass dunked on tonight, man. So for me, official, give me the Bucks first quarter team total over 32.5. Bucks first quarter -4. Bucks first half as well, -6.5. My guy Chris is on Bucks first half as well, -6.5. And the first quarter team total over as well, 32.5. What you think, Chris? At 63.5, 64. What do you think about that first half? I'd rather take the first half team total than the full game sit at 128, 127.
No, I'm with you, Jay. I'm totally with you. I think the other thing, Jay, sometimes you can get a little, you can see these totals and they can fluster you just a tad bit. You're like, God damn, I need him to score that many points. One thing about that though, recently, Jay, we just saw this Bucks team put 150 on the Pistons, right? It was a bad spot for the Pistons, but this is a bad spot. This is a bad spot for the Hornets.
Fact.
we just saw them score 141 against the Pacers in Indiana, and they scored 135 against the Pelicans. So I know we see a high number, and we don't, we think that number is a little high. This is a game, Jay, where sometimes if the team does start off a little slow, it might be better to live bet the total if you don't think that they're going to get there. But I fully expect this team to have at least 65, 70 points at halftime in this game, Jay. I think they roll in this one.
Facts right there. I got my guy in the chat asking, what's a unit to you? Unit should be somewhere around 1% of your bankroll, my guy. Some people do it from like 1 to 3%, basically how comfortable that you're betting. So I know people that do it from like 1 to 5% of your bankroll, 1 to 3. I always say it's about your comfortability on your play as well. But if you like, can't talk you off just betting an even amount, 1% on all your plays, can never go wrong with that. But that's always personal, guys. It's always it's nice to ask other people, but it's all based on your money situation as well. You see what I'm saying? That's why we never really talk numbers like that, my guys. But I just want to say that one unit is supposed to be 1% of your bankroll. These are official picks up here on the screen, guys. For the people that's hitting me up saying they can't speak English, all stuff like that. Those are the officials right there, man. For me, Bucks team total over first quarter 32.5, and also first quarter spread -4. Also on Bucks first half -6.5. Chris is on Bucks first half as well -6.5, and that first quarter team total as well. That shit's cashing, my guys. Let's get to it, man. Let's head over here to the next game, man. Why don't we? Let's head over here to the streets of Chicago here, guys. We got the Bulls getting 3 points at the house versus the LA Clippers in this one, guys. It's a tough one, right? It's a tough one. Not for me though, because I need a haircut in this one, Chris. And it's not like I got to get a haircut just because this game. I legitimately need a haircut. My shit's looking bad over here, but I'm liking the Clippers in this one, man. It's going down to 2.5. I'm not scared away, to be honest with you, man. I think this is a Clippers spot. I think they're getting hot offensively, and that's interesting to know, Chris, because this team was playing like trash. You know what? The Clippers actually owe me a lot of money, to be honest with you. I know I'm saying like the books hold my money right now. These motherfuckers owe me, bro, and it starts today. They're playing hot right now. I think the Clippers give us a little bit of our money back today, -2.5, -3. We can go official with 2.5 now since that's the current number, but I like the Clippers here, Chris. How are we looking at this one?
I can only look at the Clippers with you, Jay. So third game in 4 nights for them, minus PG and Kawhi, right? Because PG and Kawhi didn't play in that game against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday. But this team got smacked up in that game, Jay. We know it was their B unit, right? A lot of guys in and out of the rotation in that spot. It was just more than PG and Kawhi that didn't play in that game. Prior to that, though, Jay, they had won 5 games in a row with both PG and Kawhi. And I think that's what you're kind of talking about, like the form that they're in right now. 5 games in a row they had won, covering 4 of those games as well. 3 of those, this is the third game of a 6-game road trip for them. They play Milwaukee on Thursday, so not much of a look ahead spot. I think that they want to get this win as well. PG and Kawhi back tonight as well. You mentioned to me right before the show, Jay, that Reggie Jackson also going to play in this game. The Bulls, first game back home after a little 3-game road trip for them. They beat the Magic by 19 the other day, so it could be a letdown spot for them. Who were also playing on the second night of a back-to-back in that spot after losing back-to-back games against the Charlotte Hornets and the Indiana Pacers. Jay, they do host Charlotte for a revenge spot on Thursday as well. This what I looked at, Jay. I looked at the Clippers. They're 5-2 with both PG and Kawhi in the lineup over their last 7 games. 5-1 if you factor in that their opponent has a losing record, which the Chicago Bulls do right now. Last 6 games with both PG and Kawhi in the lineup, they're 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread, with 2 of those wins coming against the Spurs. But the quality wins coming against the Mavs, the Lakers, and the Hawks. They won 4 of those games by double digits as well, Jay. I think that's why I'm not scared of the short number. I do know that when two teams get together this year, there's a trend that shows that when two teams get together that are playing pretty good basketball, that the home team typically wins. But I think I'm laying it right here, Jay. I looked at a league-wide trend as well, Jay. The league-wide trend is that when you look at road favorites needing to win the game by 3 points or more on their and they were in their previous game was also away. And they're not on the second game of a back-to-back, though, and their opponent has a losing record. Those teams are 13-7-1. That's 65% that says take the Clippers tonight. So I like the Clippers tonight, Jay. I think PG and Kawhi just in really, really good form right now. I think, with Ty Lue giving them an extra day of rest, to me, that shows me that they're motivated for this game. And they've climbed so quickly, Jay, in the standings because it's so much parity in the West. They're already in the 4th seed, right behind them. Right, they breathing all on the Kings right now. That's in the 3rd seed, and
they surpassing them. They passing their ass up.
Right. And I think that this is gonna be something that we continue to ride, Jay. Just the Clippers, because PG is and Kawhi. I don't know if you saw it, Jay. I watched the post game interview, and Kawhi was talking about being informed. He talked about it taking a while, but now he's kind of really feeling his confidence, feeling motivated in these spots as well. And those are the things that I'm looking for, out of their locker room. That for them to get smacked up that way, I think they come back tonight and they get it against the Bulls, who are no sleep on the Bulls. The Bulls are 5-0-1 against the spread as a home dog in their last 6 games, but they haven't been covering against non-conference opponents, just 1-1 in that spot. So I know that they've been playing well. The Bulls play up the competition, Jay. They are 7-4 straight up, 7-3-1 against the spread versus a team that does have a winning record at home. But like I said, 9 of those 11 games did come against the Eastern Conference. So I don't expect them to play as well tonight. I think the Clippers can sneak out with a 4 or 5 point win at the least, Jay. So I don't think this one is too much of a sweat. I'm gonna get there with you, Jay. I'm gonna take the Clippers minus the 2.5.
Yeah, and no disrespect to the Kings. In all honesty, they're a great team, but they're not the 3rd best team in the Western Conference. That's all I'm saying. The Clippers, and it's crazy, right? Because if you listen to the interviews, Kawhi told us, he said it's going to be ugly early, but I think when the finished product is going to look pretty nice. And I should have listened to him. He was basically saying, don't bet on us early. The first half of the season, because we don't care. But guess what? It looks like they care now. They're playing so they always play defense, and I do think this is one of the top 3 best defensive teams in the league when it comes down from like every position and comes to the bench as well. You got guys like Robert Covington, Norman Powell coming off the bench. What Norman Powell's a starting player in this league, guys. What are we doing here? So, but when you look at the fact that they're putting together things offensively, guys, number 1 offensive rating in the last 5 games. That's even with the last game as well, with them coming off that stinker versus the Cavs, where they only put it up 99 points. So you have a game in there with 99 points. That means that you really been balling out those 4 before that. I wanted to take first quarter, but I know it could be a little bit of at least a little bit of adjustment time with them coming off a game without having Paul George and Kawhi. And with them coming back. But look at this. They are 4-1 against the spread last 5 first quarters with Kawhi and Paul George. So I wanted to, because the bounce back J spot theory says when a team gets smoked like that, when you're down 30 at halftime versus the Cavs, you want that get back ASAP. You want to come out and have a lot better effort the next game, and you want to have a good start as well. So I lean Clippers in the first quarter, but I did get there with Clippers -3. It's sitting at -2.5 now, guys. So if you'd like to hop on that, that's what I think. That's what I mean. Go ahead and hop on that 2.5. But you look at the Bulls sitting at number 22nd offensive rating last 5 games. Clippers have a rebound advantage as well, guys. We got to start looking. If you cap basketball, you got to look at rebound percentage as well. 8th rebound percentage for the Clippers over the last 5 games, whereas the Bulls are sitting at 21st. So I know that Vucevic has been playing a lot better with his points, assists, all that stuff. But this is one where I think they take advantage of the weak paint. I see Kawhi, Paul George getting to the paint all night, and maybe Zubac have himself a night as well. Give me the Clippers in this one. Me and Chris rocking on the Clippers official -2.5. Like I said, it's at 2.5, so we go official with that, my guys. Let's get to it. Last game up here, Chris. Let's go over here to the streets of Denver here, my guys. Man, got so many banners I'm working with today, but we're going over here to the streets of Denver here, man. Last game up, tough game as well, right, Chris? Nuggets land 6.5. The whole world is on the Clippers, but it come down from 7.5 and 6.5 to
whole world on the Nuggets, Jay. Whole world on the Nuggets.
Yeah. Whole world on the Nuggets, man. I'm all over the place, man.
Right.
Whole world on the Nuggets. Line come down from 7.5 to 6.5. Chris, how are we looking at this one?
So Jay, anytime you tell me that a team is let's just put this in perspective. You telling me that a team that's lost 8 games in a row, 9 of their last 10, is going on the road to play against the top Western Conference team in that league, and the spread is going against them?
Yeah.
It's working in their favor. It's working in the Dogs' favor. I can't take Denver in this spot. I can't take Denver in this spot. I know that they're coming off 2 straight losses, Jay. It's their first game back home as well. One of the things I looked at was how the Nuggets do traveling from road to home, and this team is struggling. They're just 5-7 against the spread. When their previous game was on the road, and then they're having to come back home. I also looked at them, Jay. This is gonna be an interesting one because we know that they got a look ahead spot. They do got the Warriors on deck on Thursday, and I think that's really, really interesting. Brandon Ingram just coming back as well, Jay. Him and CJ McCollum did rest in the last game, so I think that that's worth mentioning. But going back, Jay, what I was just saying, look ahead spot to the Warriors. I take this with a grain of salt for everybody that's listening, but because I know Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray weren't there for all those games, Jay. But since 2021, the Warriors, the Nuggets are 5-5 straight up, but only 2-8 against the spread when they play the Warriors in the next game, Jay. So 2-8 against huge look ahead. They don't cover the spread when they got the Warriors on deck, and that's what I think that's how you quantify a look ahead, because some people don't believe in the look ahead spots. That's the quantification of a look ahead spot. Just 2-8 against the spread, with 7 of those 10 games actually going over the total as well. So that tells me that they're not focused and locked in, but they are coming off 2 straight losses, Jay. So I don't necessarily want to fade them because they are playing pretty good basketball. For me, I think I know you're extremely high on the Pelicans, Jay. I am as well. I think the Pelicans are going through a lull right now because they had so many games on the road, right? Then you come back home for a game. Then you go back on the road. And we know that Brandon Ingram's trying to get reacclimated to the offense. CJ McCollum been doing the best that he can, but a lot of those guys have been asked that Coach Willie Green's asking a lot of those guys to step up and play out of their role, right? I'm talking about Herb Jones. I'm talking about Jose Alvarado trying to contribute a little bit more on the offensive end. Valanciunas doing the best that he can. But when you're missing Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, both of those guys are potential all-stars. I know Zion got the nod. He's going to start. But Brandon Ingram was well on his way to be, potentially making the all-star team as well. I think it's just it may be too much to overcome in this spot, Jay. But with that being said, I'm still not laying the points with the Nuggets in this one. So it'd be Pelicans or nothing for me. But I'm not playing this one, Jay. I'm going to stay on the sidelines for this one. Because if I wanted the Pelicans, I wanted to get the better number when it opened at 8.5 last night. With it coming down to 6, I don't like it as much anyway.
Yeah, you're right. I did see some 8s out there last night, man. I may or may not have sprinkled on that 8, guys. Like I say, it's not something I want to give out to anybody. It's an ugly ass play. I do respect this Pelicans team. Now, we got to always talk about current form. They're in horrible current form, guys. But I must say, it's just some I've noticed a few years ago. I'm like, damn, the Pelicans play this team tight every time. So it seems like every time they face Denver, specifically when they go to Denver as well, they play them tight every time. So there's numbers to back that up as well, man. 6-1 against the spread last 7 meetings in Denver, and straight up as well over their last 4 meetings. 2 of those they won outright. The other 2 that they didn't, one of them went to overtime, which tells me they had a chance to win outright, and the other one was a 2-point loss, man. So that was a close game as well. For whatever reason, I just feel like the Pelicans can get right here. I love the numbers that you brought there with the look ahead to the Warriors. It makes perfect sense to me as well. And you got kicked out of the playoffs versus the Warriors last year as well. So you want that game even more. It's even more of a motivational spot as well. Even if you beat them early this year, it doesn't matter. Every time we face the Warriors, we want to beat them. They're defending champs. They're where we're trying to get. And you could say as well that the Nuggets and the Warriors could be a Western Conference Finals preview possibly as well. So that's a huge game for them. I don't like the spot. This is an unfocused spot as well. Even though they're coming off 2 losses, it's still first game back at the house after East Coast road trips, guys. So not the best. You look at the Nuggets as well, not necessarily looking as strong. Maybe they realize, Chris, that they don't need to go balls to the wall the whole season, right? You're sitting at number 1 somewhat comfortably. You don't have to go get up for every single game. Because first off, and that's why they have the whole the injury management, because you don't want to get injured, first off. And for 2, you don't want to peak at the wrong time. So I feel like this is what the Celtics are doing, and I feel like this is what the Nuggets are doing, just kind of taking a step back, man, taking certain games a lot more serious than others. And I don't like the spot. They're only 3-5 against the spread last 8 games as well, and 1-3 straight up and ATS last 4 as well. So I don't like the spot here for the Nuggets. I do think it could be a potential buy on for the Pelicans, because if you need a confidence boost and win, who better to get it than the number 1 seed versus Nuggets? Like they could really feel like that's a win that could turn their team around. You don't bet against desperate teams, guys. That's what I say. So it's Pelicans or nothing for me. But if I'm playing this game, it's probably looking at Ingram points over here, Chris. I don't think they have a chance to keep this game close because CJ's gonna do what he's do, but you can't if he's the only one. You could just focus on CJ McCollum. I think Brandon Ingram gets over his point prop. What you think about that, Chris? You think he could possibly bust out offensively here?
I do, Jay. I do. Shout out to my guy Dream because he just came on my show and gave that look out as well, Jay. Okay. I think Brandon Ingram points, rebounds, and assists because we know he can impact the game all these different ways, Jay. He is listed at 30.5 right now. 30.5 for his points, rebounds, and assists. Brandon Ingram is somebody that can score 25 points by itself. Mm-hmm. Then you're looking at 2 or 3 rebounds and 2 or 3 assists in that spot.
Facts.
I think that could cash, Jay. I also think, when you think about Brandon Ingram and you're thinking about props, you kind of got to think about it like stocks. You want to buy them when they're low, right? Brandon Ingram numbers are going to start going up, Jay. They like as he starts to get reacclimated to the offense, as he starts to find his shot, his numbers are going to go up. So this whatever his points prop at, whatever his points, rebounds, and assists, that line is only going to go up as he gets back into his natural, form and position on this team and kind of slide Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado, the Trey Murphys of the world back into their natural position, Jay. So he's going to have a breakout game here soon, and it could definitely be the night against the Nuggets.
Yeah, and he's kind of a matchup nightmare. The best defenders, now, unless you put Aaron Gordon on him, maybe you can put Aaron Gordon on. So Aaron Gordon, I don't think he's the best defender, but he has shown that he's playing a lot better defense this year. So I want to make that a point as well. But when it comes to just lateral moving their feet, I don't think he's a great defender. Their best defenders are Bruce Brown and KCP, and maybe Braun off the bench. But all of those are going to guard. They're going to guard the guards. Ingram, if you try to put MPJ on him, he might go off for 30 points this game. MPJ is not a defender. That's one thing for sure. He's trying to get the ball. He's trying to shoot it. I'm giving 20 points to MPJ, my guys. I'm crossing him up, man. But that's how we're looking at the game. Maybe, yeah, you make a good point there. And that's why I like asking questions as well, because I'm not a huge prop betting guy. It'd be a lot harder for him to get over the 20 and a half points, which I think he gets it done. But a better play with them needing his rebounding and assists because he has to be a ball handler as well, Chris. I think that's the main reason why Ingram comes back and why it's going to be pretty soon when the Pelicans start to look like themselves, even without Zion, because they have everybody else other than Zion, right? They just need Ingram to get back into his point guard type of role. When that happens, he could go off for 10 assists in this. I think PRA is a lot better for Ingram here. I'm glad I asked you that question because I hadn't betted yet. I'd much rather that than points. And obviously, if he goes for 25, that's going to help you even more. So that's a damn good look right there, my guys. But let's go ahead and get out of here, man. Let's talk about some picks, talk about life, man. Talk about whatever, Chris. The floor is yours, my brother. Anything you want to say? Tell them about your show. Tell them about anything, bro. We just talking here, man. Laid back show, and let them know what picks you like tonight.
Absolutely, Jay. So first and foremost, man, just a salute to you for having me on the show. As always an honor and a pleasure to be able to come on here and talk hoops, Jay. Always interested in the opportunities when they present themselves, man. But yeah, for me, Jay, I'm doing a morning show. Cashed it with Chris, 7 a.m. every single morning, trying to get ahead of the early lines, Jay. Similar to what you do. I know you do yours at night. I wake up early in the morning. I'm in the gym. I'm doing everything in the morning, right? So 7 a.m. trying to get ahead of the lines. If we have all the information that we need, the NBA been janky as far as injury report manipulation, Jay. So kind of makes that show really difficult to do in the morning. But I am still doing that show. Recorded on a podcast as well, so check it out on podcast streaming platforms. All my work can be followed on my Twitter page as well at Crispy Cappin, 2 P's, 2 N's. And then I'm doing a Spaces on a YouTube show every single day as well, Jay. So for you guys that want to tap in, definitely come on over, subscribe to the show, check out the Spaces as well over on Twitter, 5:15 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Weekends I'm doing shows as well. And as far as plays for today, Jay, that Bucks one, it should be one of these, Jay. It should be a Smack City spot.
Let's go.
Should be a Smack City spot, but I'm official on. I'm gonna take that team total with you. You talked me into that 132.5. I mentioned the Bucks last 4 or 5 games. They're averaging about 39 points in the first quarter. So I do think that they keep it going today. I think they remember what happened to them, and they do what happened to them in the last game to the team that did it to them, right? If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Yeah, so Bucks first quarter, Jay, team total over 32.5. The Bucks first half spread -6.5. I do anticipate them being up by 8 to 10, maybe 12, 15 points at the end of the first half. I got that with the Clippers with you as well, Jay. -2.5. I'm gonna be official with that as well. Then going back to that Laker game, AD, I talked about him going over his rebounds in 5 of the last 6 games. I think he rebounds the ball today. No Mitchell Robinson, give me AD rebounds. I think his minutes goes up, to probably about 30 in this spot as he played in the Celtics game. And then I talked about Bron rebounds plus assists, Jay. I think he's has potential to get a triple double tonight, but his rebounds plus assists, Jay, 13 and a half, cashed 14 games in a row. I'm glad I found it, because I think it continues tonight in a primetime matchup on TNT off the day of rest with him chasing so many different records right now. So
Facts.
I like Bron over 13 and a half rebounds plus assists, AD over his 9.5 rebounds, the Clippers -2, and the Bucks first quarter team total over 32.5, and the Bucks first half spread -6.5, Jay.
Man, that sounds like good money to me. Hey, see what I'm saying?
I
I'm
know
finna go
one
and
time
get
for
it.
the one time, Jay.
One time, and I need that shit. And they owe me some money. You see what I'm saying? They just hold my
Both
money,
us.
just borrowing that shit for
Yeah,
now.
you
know what
going to
I'm
get it
saying?
back? Yeah.
No, that's fast. Yeah, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow him on Twitter at Crispy Capping, man. We broke down all the games. We trying to get to some cash, man. I'm taking the Lakers plus the 2. I heavily lean LeBron over his points, guys. The Lakers likely won't be in this game if LeBron can't go for 30 points, and we need AD as well. We need him. I know my guy, somebody was telling me earlier on the show they like AD double-double. It's basically the same thing as getting the 9.5 rebounds. Well, the 10 points is going to come. He's getting 10 in his sleep. So I'm saying he be playing 15 minutes and he's still getting 10 points. AD has looked like he's coming out there and they're ready to try to make a playoff run. So if you're the Lakers, you're going to make the playoffs. I feel like you got to win these type of games. Hopefully the refs are on their side as well, but that's not a part of the cap. But I like the Lakers and they're on plus the 2. Heavily lean LeBron, and like I say, my guy going with AD over 9.5 rebounds. And I'm probably going to ride with you on that on both of those. LeBron rebounds, assists, and the AD, my guys. And like I say, man, yeah, Bucks team total over first quarter 32.5. I think that's good money. I think the first quarter and the team total over are very correlated. All these, it's like Munaf said, man, this is going to be a trifecta spot one way or another for either for the Hornets or for the Bucks. But I think it could be a Bucks double trifecta spot, team total overs and for the spreads as well. I see a Smack City spot coming for the Bucks. Guys, remember, these teams remember the revenge spot, especially when you get absolutely smoked. It's a bounce back J spot as well. And then we're taking the Clippers as well, -2.5. I do have money on the -3, but the spread went down. We always give official on the current numbers, guys. So that's the show, man. 40 minutes into it. Had over 550 people watching live, guys. We appreciate your time. Hit the like button as well, man. Go follow Chris on Twitter at ChrisBCap and check out his YouTube channel and his spaces. I hadn't been in there. Well, I got to get in there, man. But you can follow me as well at J Money is Money, guys. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out, man. Let's get this cash, guys. Let's fucking go. We will win.